Trump loyalists are getting the top jobs at the Pentagon now after President Trump fired the Defense Secretary Mark Esper and several senior officials quit. Democrats say the shakeup, just 70 days before the president is set to leave office, is raising national security concerns.
Word is the establishment of both political parties are now in panic as Trump has finally begun to fill the Pentagon with his loyalists. This has been a long time coming after years of basically letting the establishment and whoever, the establishment GOP wanted him to have empower, run the Pentagon. Now we're finally seeing Donald Trump stepping up and filling this important branch of government with his supporters and his loyalists. This is a very big change, and it comes just as it looks like Trump is about to leave office, unless he can successfully challenge the results of the election. But, I mean, the likelihood of that is not, it definitely isn't certain. But what we are seeing here is that Trump is finally going through and putting his people in power so that he can implement his policies. And the important thing about this is he might finally be able to follow through on one of his most important campaign promises, and that was to bring the troops home from Afghanistan, Syria, and possibly Iraq before the ending of his term. And now that he has his people in power, there is a very high likelihood and possibility he might be able to pull that off. Will he do it? I don't know. But it definitely signals a big shift that he's finally going through and doing what he always wanted to do, which is bring the troops home. Now, of course, at the same time, he does want to follow this hard line against Iran, and we'll probably see more sanctions on Iran, more challenging of Iran. But I really don't see Trump going to war with Iran. I don't think he's going to start war with Iran, but he's definitely going to challenge the Iranians. And that may be the right thing to do. But the big question is, and really what a lot of Trump supporters are wondering, and a lot of non-interventionists are wondering, and a lot of people that have supported Trump and the president's policies on foreign policy is, why is it that Trump did not do this earlier? Why did he spend 3.5 or so ever years having the establishment run his foreign policy, being undercut every single turn by the people in his administration that were not loyal to him and did not have his best interest in mind? Why couldn't he have done this earlier? And there's a lot of reasons. I mean, if we look at the targeting of General Michael Flynn, he was somebody who was a Trump loyalist, who had his foreign policy in mind, who probably would have radically changed U.S. foreign policy. We saw very early on in Trump's administration that Michael Flynn was targeted, and he was essentially imprisoned, and he was put into this court war room for basically the duration of Trump's administration. And he was never able to do anything. And he's still not out of that mess. And Trump will probably have to pardon him before he leaves office in order to get him out of there. And so that's the big thing here, is that, yes, Trump has been probably a little weak on this issue, that he didn't step up and put the people in power that he wanted in power. But now, at the end of his administration, he has an amazing opportunity to have his people in charge and to fundamentally change the course of American foreign policy, and to be remembered as one of the most consequential presidents in U.S. history possible. And that is a very, very big change of events, a very, very big shift, and I really hope that it works out.